What's going on, guys, and welcome back to F1 22 for Season 3, round number 10 of My Team Career Mode, the Belgian Grand Prix. First time we've been here since Season 1, because we didn't come here last time out. We have changed one of our sponsors to JPPB, overtake four different drivers during a race, so that's a little switch out there. I think the other one we had was, I think it was finish in the top 10, and we're doing that fairly regularly now, so I thought we might as well change it up, get something that will hopefully give us a little bit more money, because money is the one thing we need to upgrade our facilities. Looking at R&D, and we're still there in kind of 5th place. Alpine actually catching up a little bit to us. I mean, we're kind of staying about the same distance away from each other. Mercedes now way up there between Ferrari and Red Bull in 2nd place, and McLaren just a little bit ahead of us. So, yeah, we're still up with that top group, but we've still got a little ways to go if we want to be fighting for proper wins and stuff. I mean, Norris has been doing amazing with podiums lately, and I mean, we had a podium, I don't think it was last time out, was it? It was the race before we had the double podium with Norris, actually. But yeah, we want to be fighting for that more, and we want to be fighting for wins, and at the moment, we're not quite there yet. Q1 comes around, we end up P12, I only did one lap, because the track was starting to get a little bit worse. Rain was going to be coming probably later on in Q2, and I could already feel the track getting a little bit worse, and I felt like my lap time wasn't great, but it was good enough to get me through. So I was far enough ahead of other cars behind me that I was pretty safe, and that was the case. Got through to Q2. Then Q2, as you can see here, this is right at the start of the Q2 session, and already it's quite cloudy out. No rain as of yet, but very, very cloudy outside, and yeah, that was just, you know, trying to get a lap in as quick as I could, because the rain was supposed to be coming, and that could really shake up things. You know, if drivers weren't able to get out there in time, they couldn't get a good lap before the rain came, and that's exactly what happened, because both AlphaTauris and both Hasses got through to Q3, and shockingly, Leclerc in the Ferrari, Bottas in the McLaren, and both Mercedes and Lance Stroll in the Red Bull did not make it through to Q3. So that is massive for those big guns, especially Leclerc, to not make it through to Q3. And to have both Haas cars in Q3 is crazy. But as you can see here, Q3, because what happened was, after that first run of mine, the rain did come, and people just weren't able to improve on their lap times. And in Q3, as you can see here, it is now very, very wet. And this is the start of Q3, because after doing this first lap, when I went to go out and do a second flying lap, it actually told me that wet tyres were going to be the option, so the rain really came down. So it was this lap here that I had to make work, and I thought this was a decent enough lap. I had my car set up for a dry setup, because the race is going to be completely dry, no chance of rain in the race at all. So the car is completely set up for the dry. All I did was change the front wing. I put the front wing up at about, I think I put it about 3 clicks higher than I would run it in the dry, because that's the only thing I can really change in Parc Fermé. I know you can change like tire temperatures and stuff as well, but I didn't bother messing around with that. Just changed the front wing to give me a little bit more grip through the corners, and hopefully not lose too much straight line speed. And yeah, although it was quite difficult trying to get the car around here, it wasn't terrible, it wasn't awful. I'm pretty sure we had rain in the Belgian Grand Prix in Season 1, so I had previous experience of wet running on this game at Spa. So yeah, it went okay. I was at least pretty confident that I could get at least like 6, because, you know, I felt like I should definitely be able to beat both the Hasses. Should be able to beat Tsunoda. Gasly seems to be really doing well in that AlphaTauri, so maybe he would beat me, but I was thinking about 6 is probably where I expect to be here, behind all the other cars. And in the end, when the session was over, 6 is exactly where I put the car, but Lando Norris went P1. He starts from pole position properly this time, because I think it was last time out, or maybe the time before, where he qualified 2nd but ended up 1st because of Verstappen's penalty. This time he's actually qualified 1st, and he will be starting in the front position for this race. So let's get into the Belgian Grand Prix.
Welcome along then to the Belgian Grand Prix. The race that gave us the maiden victory to the Jordan team in 1998, and in the same team, the phenomenal debut of a young Michael Schumacher. There's always something special just around one of the many corners of this fan-favourite circuit. Spa-Francorchamps today, a circuit that spans 4.35 miles. There are tons of elevation changes along the way too. 19 corners making up this circuit, with 9 of them to the right and the remaining 10 to the left. This track is a great one for fans of pure speed, and the average lap speed comes close to a whopping 145 miles an hour. It's time to see how our drivers are stacking up after yesterday's exciting qualifying session. Lando Norris put in a fantastic lap yesterday, and he will start from pole position, and Max Verstappen lines up alongside. Looking at the rest of today's grid, we have Sainz, Ocon, Daniel Ricciardo, Shaw, Gasly, Mick Schumacher, Tsunoda and Robert Schwartzman, Leclerc, Latifi, Valtteri Bottas and Hamilton, Russell, Stroll, Kevin Magnussen and Guan Yu Zhou, Vettel, Albon, Liam Lawson and Daniel Ticktum. It's almost time for those 5 red lights to go out then. Let's see who can prevail today. Anthony Davidson joins me once again in the commentary box, and it's fantastic to have you here with us today. But I'm curious, as a man with experience out on the track, how do you stop those pre-race nerves from becoming overwhelming when you're lining up on the grid?
Well, I imagine they'll be starting to feel the adrenaline as they anticipate the rundown into turn 1, a bit like preparing to go into battle. The unknown situation will bring nerves, but that's a good thing. It will keep them focused on the moment and on their surroundings as we build towards the start of the Grand Prix.
Okay, so pole position for Lando Norris at the Belgian Grand Prix. A mix of tyres going on cars here. Most people on the medium tyres like myself, but we've got Ricciardo ahead of us on the softs. Gasly behind us is also on the softs. And I believe you've then got Sainz. Both Ferraris are on the softs of Sainz and Leclerc. Both Mercedes also on the soft tyres as well, and as well as Ricciardo. Bottas in the other McLaren is also on the soft tyres. So a few soft tyre runners here. Interested to see what they're going to do. I expect especially McLaren to do the one stop onto the mediums because they've done that quite a lot. But we'll have to wait and see. To 5 red lights for the Belgian Grand Prix in Season 3, returning for the first time since Season 1. It's lights out and away we go. It is a decent enough start for us. However, we have got soft tyre runners in front and behind us, and that means that Gasly can sniff his way up the inside as we go through turn 1. We're going to be side by side with Gasly as we come out of turn 1 and head up to Eau Rouge, but we're going to try, no we're not, we're just going to have to slot in behind him. He just has the better traction on those soft tyres, but shouldn't have to worry too much. I think the tyres are going to wear out quite quickly here, and our straight line speed is pretty damn good down this straight here. As we see Sainz getting the lead of the race because he starts on the soft tyres as well. As there's a lot of cars in front of us, we run quite wide through that next corner, but just about managed to defend from Tsunoda. Gasly's actually trying to attack the cars ahead of Ocon and Ricciardo on those soft tyres. Ricciardo and Ocon actually going side by side, having some good racing at the start of this race. Ricciardo's just dived himself up the inside, but I think Ocon's actually just come back at him again. So lots of battling going on in front and behind us as well. A big gaggle of cars. We're kind of just sat here waiting, as we often do on the first lap, because not having the greatest starts in this game, we kind of end up in a little bit of no man's land for the first lap or so, as everybody else fights around us. So we're just going to try and take it easy, warm these tyres up, get into the groove, and yeah, I have a feeling those soft tyres are not going to last too long around here. And I mean, you've got to get through like if they start going off at the start of a lap, it's a long lap here, so you're going to have a lot of driving to go once those tyres are actually wearing out. As we get a really good run through this fast sector here, we're really quick compared to the AI through that final sector. I don't know why, but they don't seem to go flat out through that fast left-hander. I can easily go flat out, so that is where we're definitely making up time. Maybe losing a little bit of time in sector 2 with all the twisty stuff, but on lap number 2 we get a great run up Eau Rouge, and as you can see, not even with DRS enabled at the moment, we get a great run on Pierre Gasly, and we're going to the inside as we head into the next corner off the back straight. We're going to brake as late as we can and get that move done. So we're back up into P6, overtaking Gasly once again. Ricciardo still stuck behind Ocon up ahead. Lap number 3 in Zhou Guanyu is on the back of Lewis Hamilton. Of course, the two Mercedes had a very poor qualifying, knocked out in Q2. Zhou Guanyu has just gotten past him. He's on the medium tyres. Hamilton is on the softs. So lap number 3, it looks like already those soft tyres, at least for the Mercedes, are starting to wear out. And it's really showing that it's not going too well for them, as now battling behind the Mercedes of George Russell, that is Sebastian Vettel and I think Dan Ticktum. Yes, it is, having a little battle there. No, sorry, it's Liam Lawson and Dan Ticktum, as Vettel has actually now just gone for a move on George Russell in the other Mercedes car. So the fact that we've got an Aston Martin attacking a Mercedes, the slowest car on the grid, attacking the second fastest on R&D, shows that obviously those Mercedes are struggling on the soft tyres here. Russell trying to hold on at the moment. He's got the better run as they come up to Eau Rouge, and this might be too wide. Up they go through Eau Rouge. It's too wide with Lawson and Ticktum behind as well, but Vettel manages to stay ahead at that point in time. Great racing from him. The Mercedes not having a good race at the moment. As with DRS now and another good run up Eau Rouge, we have a run on Daniel Ricciardo again. He is going to the inside defensive. May also look for a move on Ocon, but he's a bit too far back. We're going to try and hang it round the outside, the inside for the next corner, and then it's the outside again here, but he just comes back at us, pushes us out wide, and we can't quite keep it on the road. We'll have to give it another lap to go back at him again. Another lap later, and yeah, the Mercedes are really struggling here, as Vettel is now going for a move on Hamilton. It's a beautiful swoop up the inside there for Sebastian Vettel. Lewis Hamilton is struggling like crazy, and so is George Russell on those soft tyres. I don't think that has been the strategy for Mercedes here today, so it's just not a good day for them by the looks of it. They're going to struggle to score points here at all, I think. As now, next lap around, we have another go at Daniel Ricciardo. This time, we go to the inside, late braking into this corner. He tries to stick it around the outside. He actually stays with us around the next corner a little bit as well, but we just about manage to get past him. But then we get a big kick of oversteer around the next corner, and that allows Ricciardo to have a look around the inside, up the inside once again, but we manage to just about defend. We have the grip, and his soft tyres also seem to be going off at this point in time. And that seems to be the case for Carlos Sainz, who is currently leading the race here. He leads on the soft tyres from Max Verstappen in second place with the medium tyres. And Verstappen's managed to stay with Sainz this whole time. He hasn't even come out of DRS. So that's really not worked out for Sainz on those soft compound tyres. And now with DRS, Verstappen pushes his way to the inside of the track. Those medium tyres seem to now have more grip than the softs as well. Sainz tries to fight it back round the next corner. It's great side-by-side action, but in the end, Verstappen will take the position. He will take the lead of the Belgian Grand Prix. That is very good for him on those medium tyres. Sainz's strategy perhaps not quite working for him here either, as now we are looking on the back of Esteban Ocon, and this should be a bit of an easier move than on Ricciardo because Ocon does not have DRS. We do. We managed to just about get back to the racing line before the corner. He has a little look around the next one, but in the end, he's not going to be able to get past us. We have the speed, and we are past Esteban Ocon. Now, Charles Leclerc is trying to make his way through the... No, sorry, this isn't Charles Leclerc. This is Carlos Sainz, because he has now come in for his first pit stop, and possibly his last. He came quite late onto those mediums, so I think he's going to try and go the mediums all the way to the end. He manages to get past Yuki Tsunoda there, but then we have a bad message. That is not the radio message we wanted to hear. We have an issue apparently. We're coming into the pits this time around, so is that going to help us at all maybe? You know, cooling the car down in the pits if it's some kind of engine issue? I don't really know. The team doesn't know what the issue is at the moment. We haven't had a mechanical failure since round 1 of this season in Bahrain. So, I mean, we're 10 races in now. We could potentially have another mechanical failure here, but we change onto the hard compound tyres. It's a very good pit stop from the team as we come out of the pit well ahead of Esteban Ocon and a few other cars behind us, of I think Latifi and a few others. But in the end, we come up to Eau Rouge, and that's it. It looks like the gearbox by that has gone. We are out of the Belgian Grand Prix. I honestly think we were looking for... I reckon we would have got a podium here. We had pace. We could have really gone for a podium. If not, with a safety car maybe, we could have even gone for the race win here, because I think we had pace over Norris. I think we could have caught Norris and gotten past him, and I mean, I don't think we had the pace of Verstappen, but with a safety car, who knows what
race
could
then
have
on one of the all-time classic circuits, but they've persevered to take the win here today. Talk to me, Ant. What was it that set them apart from the competition today?
I think it was clear what the main contributing factor out on track was: speed. I know it sounds like an awfully reductive statement, but fast cars win races, and we saw that today with our winner.
Here come today's winners. The team at Red Bull have done a phenomenal job recently. It's clear to see that they've put in the work, and they should be proud of the victory they've secured here.
So Max Verstappen wins the Belgian Grand Prix. Carlos Sainz manages to get himself back up to P2 after that soft to medium strategy. That is the strategy he would do in the end. So I guess it did work out for him. Lando Norris ends up P3. So it's another podium for Norris. I think that might be, is that 3 podiums in a row for Norris now? That's just crazy. In what is supposed to be the 5th fastest car on the grid with us at the moment, we've only managed 1 podium. So I think he's now at 4 podiums this season. That's just crazy from Norris. He's just really good, but I genuinely think we would have been there, if not been able to overtake him and be ahead of him, if it wasn't for this mechanical failure. It's unfortunate that it's happened here. Haven't been here for a season, and now we get a failure when it was looking like a good race for us. So very unfortunate. Norris jumps up to P4 in the Drivers' Championship with that result. That is really good. We're still in P7. We've got the 2 McLarens ahead of us. Esteban Ocon also moves ahead of George Russell. The Mercedes, I don't think, scoring any points this time around. And further back, Mick Schumacher finished P8 in the Haas, so he picks up another 4 points to now be on 5 points in the championship. That moves Haas up to P9 with 5 points, and everything else pretty much stays the same. We are only a few points, I think like 8 points or so behind McLaren now, so it's still a battle for 3rd place with us and McLaren. But yeah, really unfortunate that one. We could have had a very good result in this race, but unfortunately a gearbox failure by the looks of it has cost us any points in this race. But anyway, that's going to be it for this video, guys. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed, please go ahead, like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.